Hello there. Welcome again to another episode of Inspiring Women in Travel Asia. I'm your host today, Sumi Suryan, the Senior Advisor for the Phuket Hotels Association. I'm based in Phuket, Thailand, and today I have Datin Rosemarie Wong, whom I'm very privileged and honored to be interviewing today. And she's based out of Kuching, Sarawak. Am I correct?
That's right, Sumi.
Welcome to the show, Rosemarie, and
Thank you.
it's a pleasure to have you today. Rosemarie is a hotel owner and also gallery owner, amongst many things that she does. So perhaps, Rosemarie, you don't mind sharing with us a bit of what you're doing now and the establishment that you've built?
Wow, where do I start? I am a hotel owner, yes. We have two properties under our group. One is known as the Ranee Boutique Suites, which is a 24-room luxury boutique hotel in the heart of Kuching City, along the Kuching waterfront. And the other property is the Marion Boutique Lodging House, which is a 40-room lodging house sited in a heritage building. I'm also the owner of the Ranee Artisan Gallery, which is a shop, an incidental gift shop that was started when we started the hotel back in 2012.
So that's part of the hotel, and do you have that in both hotels?
Yes, so when we started the Ranee in 2012, we had a cafe up front of the property, and our tourists and guests who were coming through the hotel would always ask myself and the staff, like, where can I go and buy good souvenirs to bring home with me? Where can I go and get nice gifts? And we were really hard pressed to actually recommend them places to go and buy authentic Sarawak made souvenirs. And they didn't, the guests who came through our hotels, they were well-traveled guests, and they didn't want trinkety things like just printed t-shirts and keychains. They wanted something a little bit more upmarket, unique. So when we couldn't find products around, I then started working with local artisans to create our own products for our shop. It wasn't even a shop, actually. It was, as I said, it was a cafe. And how that shop idea started was we had a shelf in the cafe that used to sell postcards to support the School for Mentally Disadvantaged Children in Kuching. And we were selling these postcards for charity. And from one charitable organization, a second one approached us, a third one approached us. So literally we started with a shelf just selling charity-made products and postcards and little trinkety gifts. Then when we saw the need for it, I did an open call, calling for artisans in Sarawak to come forward if they've got nice products that they would like to put in our shop for sale. And it just grew from there, took off from there. I mean, the gift shop business was not something that we had planned, but it was a service that we wanted to provide in a hotel. So when we opened the Marion, we did the same thing. We had a small gift shop in there as well. And the artisans and organizations, NGOs, crafting communities grew from 1 to 2 to 3. I think now we have about 80 artisans and makers. And we also wanted to make sure and ensure that what we were producing was wholly Sarawak made.
Yeah, authentic.
Authentic as well.
Oh, that's excellent. So this show is about inspiring women, and I know that you're great in terms of leading women in the hospitality sector. What are the initiatives that you have in place for your organization?
Okay, so a lead on from the gift shop when we started in 2016, I got the opportunity to work with women from the Longhouse communities in Betong Division in Sarawak. And I decided to take on that challenge to develop handicrafts with these communities. So the whole idea of that was to challenge what they were already making, which was utilitarian traditional crafts for everyday use. So say, for example, farming baskets, mats that they were using to dry peppercorns, containers that they were using in the kitchen that they make themselves, they weave. So when I saw the potential of what they could do and their skills, the then decided to start up the rural community development projects with them to see if I could contemporize what they were doing for the modern consumer. Now, we started with one longhouse, and that was a success. On the second year, we moved on to another longhouse. On the third year, we moved on to another longhouse. So I worked with the women community in each longhouse, which can range from about, say, anything from 5 women who are interested in crafting up to 40 women per longhouse. And that was one initiative that I was very close to heart because I'm passionate about it. It's a pet project that I wanted to try, a pilot project that I wanted to try for the rural community. Now, the one that you're referring to, the Women Leadership Foundation, I think I was invited onto that as a panel speaker during one of their first sessions here in Sarawak. Very honored. And then they invited me to be a mentor to their pool of mentees. So that's my involvement with the Women Leadership Foundation, which is a great organization because it's a pool of fabulous, dynamic women, high achievers who, they inspire me, and in turn, I inspire other women. That's what it's all about, right?
Fantastic. And just to give the audience a bit of a background, for those who don't know Kuching, Sarawak, would you mind giving a bit of a explanation about not only the destination, but also the community?
Sarawak, as you know, is located on Borneo Island. So there are 2 Malaysian states on Borneo Island, Sarawak and Sabah. We are in Sarawak, and I'm based in Kuching. We have a big population of ethnic diversity here. I'd say over 20 over different indigenous tribes here. So we're actually a very culturally diverse and interesting state of Malaysia. And the array of the culture, the costumes, the people, the language, the food, it's a real melting pot and a great inspiration to anybody in the creative industry or even in the tourism industry. There's so much we can tap on here. You should come.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's a lot of historical and also cultural history to Sarawak. Yeah, definitely.
In the old days, we were under British. It was British colonial rule in the old days. So there's a lot of rich historical past in that sense. We do have a lot of forts still in existence in Kuching, of course not used anymore. That was used in the old days during the British rule. And also the indigenous communities here, they live in various types of houses, right? From long houses to baroques, which is like a round house. The Penans, who are nomadic tribes. Right. So they build huts, and every time they move, they dismantle their huts and they move on again. So it really is a very culturally rich and diverse state of Malaysia. Very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. With all the initiatives and also businesses that you run, you've got a family of 4 kids. How do you juggle? I was just thinking I've got 2 and I've got my hands full. So how do you manage that and your professional life?
With great difficulty, because it's not easy even having 1 kid, and for myself with 4 and dividing my time. I got married quite early. I got married at the age of 24, and I had my first kid at 25. I wasn't working then. I had graduated from UK and relocated back to Kuching. And after I had my second kid in 2003, I just thought, okay, I can't stay at home. I'm going to lose my mind just staying at home and looking after the kids. I needed another outlet. I joined the family business, and the family business is primarily a property development business. And I started up a management and maintenance company.
Did you grow up with hospitality already, like a family that's already in that environment?
No, not at all. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in fashion and printed textiles. So nothing related to the service industry or construction or management.
Oh, wow.
And when I joined the family business, as I said to you, we were in property development.
Right.
And I thought, oh, what can I do, for the company? Because it wasn't design based or anything like that where I could use my skill. So then I saw the void in the business and thought, okay, we need a management company because we were outsourcing all that service before. And that's how it started. And the hotel was also it wasn't really planned. We had the space. We didn't know what to do with it. And it was converted then from a shop house to a hotel. And no experience in the service industry, had to learn it from scratch completely. But I think as women, we're very resilient and we can do whatever as long as we put our minds to it and rise above it. We can definitely learn and adapt. Yeah, not an easy journey. It was a very steep vertical learning curve. Well, not even a curve, a vertical vertical wall.
Exactly. We have to learn very quickly.
Yeah, you learn through a lot of mistakes.
Exactly, it's the only
but
way.
Hopefully, you don't make the mistakes again.
Did you go through many career paths before reaching to hospitality?
So when I first joined the family business, the first project that I was tasked to do was it was like a charitable project that we were doing for a church. We were building a church, and I was tasked to manage the whole project and coordinate contractors and consultants and architects, and I had no clue, but I took it on in my own stride. I learned a lot from that experience, and it wasn't easy because being in the construction industry, it's a very male-dominated industry, and not all men like taking instruction from women,
especially younger women.
Yeah, especially younger women. And when I came back, I couldn't speak Hokkien. My Malay was bad. I couldn't really speak Hakka. I could understand it. So I was really fumbling. I could speak Mandarin, but some of them didn't want to speak Mandarin to me. English was a no-no. So, I really fumbled as well to give instructions in the language that they wanted to speak. And as I said, you have to learn really fast and adapt. Then from there, after that, that was when I set up the management company. So we had a team of cleaners and maintenance staff. Now we have security guards as well to manage our own properties because we were outsourcing this before. And even though we were outsourcing it, I found myself dealing with all the complaints and problems. So I thought, why don't we do it ourselves? After all, when we outsource it, we're still dealing with the issues of the owners. Yeah. So that was how the management company started. After that, I went on to managing a sports complex, a multi-sports complex, again under our portfolio, which my brother built. Yep. No experience in sports, had no idea how many players were on a futsal team, didn't know the rules of badminton and how that whole thing worked, and we had to organize events and tournaments. So again, had to learn. That was the first foray really into a service industry, and had to learn all that from bottom up. So by the time we got to the hotel, okay, I had the skill set of managing people, had the skill set of setting up a service industry, sort of. Didn't know about the hospitality sector, didn't know how pricing for rooms, tours, commissions for OTAs, didn't know any of the acronyms, then that was really learning all over again. But as I said, if you are willing to learn, you can learn anything.
What's the learnings, like the key learnings? What's the most valuable thing that you learned that you could share with, some of us are quite intimidated into doing something new. I think there's always the fear of doing something out of your comfort zone, something that you have no skill set or experience in. Like, what's the advice or what would you say in encouraging someone to do
that? I'd say failure is inevitable, right? And it is really through failures that you learn a lot more, you learn faster. You just hope that you don't make the same mistakes again. And never be afraid to pick yourself up. Take a deep breath and go on. Tomorrow will always be a better day. And it's okay, you know, it's okay to have a good cry if you need to. It's okay, really.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about that. You know, they look at it from the onset and they say, "Oh, you're such a tough woman. You know, you can do all this. You can do all." But there are days when you are taken down completely, and I think other women need to know that it's okay to have a good cry, and then pick yourself up, wipe your tears off, and trudge on again.
What would be the one thing that you would tell to your younger self if you were to do it all over again? What's one thing that you would do differently?
Oh, I don't know if I would do anything differently. I think that it is through all the experiences, my past experience, that shapes you up to who you are today. I think when you're young, you're more resilient. You think, okay, I can really do it. You know, you're fearless when you're younger. When you get to a certain age, you think, okay, I can't be bothered with it. I shouldn't even do it. You know, you then become more selective. But when you're young, you
You do
just
everything. You're hungry.
everything. Did you not go through that as well?
Yeah, I would do everything. I would say yes to everything, and I'm just hungry and young and just want to get all the experience. And I think it's also seeking approval. Like, I can do it. But
Yeah.
as you gain experience, as you gain more, yeah, you do become selective. And time is not a luxury. We've got other commitment now. We've got family. We've got other business. We're not only doing one job. We're doing a few jobs now, like on many businesses. Yeah, we have to be very I guess wise in choosing what we
What we
do.
do, right? Yeah. But I would also advise that, I think maybe it's our educational background or our culture. A lot of women tend to not speak up, and they should, never be afraid to ask, because it is through asking that you then get given the opportunities, and you get to learn more. But I know locally, perhaps it's not the culture for women to voice up, right? But if you don't do that, you will never learn. You don't know. You don't know. Don't be afraid of knocking on doors as well. You are you have to see yourself on an equal platform to men, for sure.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised at the things that will come your way.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rosemarie. It's been an absolute pleasure to interview and actually get to know you a lot better as well.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Sumi. It's been a real honor to be asked to be interviewed. Yeah.
look forward to connecting and crossing paths again in the
Thank
future.
you, Sumi. Thank you very much.